Good morning and welcome to Carnation Crafts. We're live in the Carnation Crafts TV studios. It's very exciting, and as always, it's wonderful to have your company. So today we're looking at summer pursuits. Some of you might have already seen it. It is the most glorious, sunny, beautiful collection. I love this very, very much. Taz and I were just having a conversation, and Miss Taz has just announced that this is her favourite collection along with Bohemian Beauty, and I can absolutely see why. Good morning, Sandra. How are you doing today? I hope you're really well. Hey, Ronald. Hello, hello, hello. Lovely to have your company. Christine, hello. And Lorraine, good morning as well. I love it when you all join in. It just makes it that really nice community feel, doesn't it? So we'll kick off by saying that the Summer Pursuits collection is on the Carnation Crafts website, which is www.carnationcrafts.co.uk, and the item number for it is 220713. It's absolutely gorgeous. Good morning, Helen. Good morning, Lynn. Hey up, me duck. Lynn, it is National Yorkshire Day today. So hey up indeed. It is my heart and soul. It's the day that celebrates the place I love the most. Good morning, Alison. Really nice to have your company. So yeah, as I was saying, sorry, 220713 distraction for the Summer Pursuits collection. Now there are ways of breaking this up. The 3 frames that we'll be looking at can be bought individually as a separate item if you want those and not the rest of the collection. And that is on 220714. That is $74.99 with free UK P&P. I will just say on that score, you can get 10% discount on all of these by typing in the code CCSP10. Miss Taz is holding a board up at the minute, so what I'm going to do is just let her hold it for a while so that her arm aches. What are we saying here? Code is 220713. The show price is £107.99 if you use your discount code. That can be divided into 4 payments, and that would be on ClearPay, and that would make it £27 in your basket this morning. Annette says hello, Carla, and of course Miss Taz.
Morning.
Karen says good morning, Carla, Taz, and Carnation Army. Hello, you hope you're well. Very, very well. Thank you very much. So that is the housekeeping kind of sorted. What I will say about shipping, for those of you who are in the US, it is slightly different. The shipping for the US is $4.95, and if you want to add in the perfect papers that go with this collection, that will make your shipping $14.95. That is for 1 pack of papers. If you choose that you'd like more packs of papers, you can add those in separately. It will be a different shipping for those. And to let you know that the gorgeous, gorgeous Summer Pursuits Perfect Papers are on the item number 220724. And just to let you know that the Perfect Papers are not papers. They are, in fact, card. It's 300 GSM. You get 48 sheets. So there's 6 colours and you get 8 of each one. This is the most glorious colourway, isn't it? I was just so taken with the colourway on this. It's so pretty. The colours that you see in your perfect papers are colour picked from the vignettes. I will talk to you about vignettes and go through, how you get them, how you get your artwork, and we'll go through the whole process as we're going through everything. But I'm going to show you the boards because they're beautiful and it's very exciting. Just a massive good morning to Pam Wade there, who says hello to everybody. It's just a lovely day, right? It's a bit grey and it's a bit miserable outside, but that doesn't mean that summer has left us. And a massive congratulations, obviously, to the ladies last night. Lots of people will be very sore in the head this morning, but I was working, so I'm not. But what a huge, huge gain for women in general. So just brilliant and well done for the football. Linda says, morning, ordered mine last night, yet another set. I love it. Thank you, CC. Linda, it's so pretty. You're going to have so much fun. Eileen, a few nearly missed you. Good job. I'm having a lazy day off. Oh, Eileen, I love a lazy day off. Actually, I don't know when I last had one. When did I last have a day off?
I don't remember. But do you know what we can say to Eileen?
What, go on then.
Come on, Eileen.
You can ignore Taz, Eileen. She's singing Come On, Eileen in the background, but she is absolutely up for you having a day off. Helen, hello everyone. Alison, it's a beautiful sunny morning in Warwickshire. And morning, Carla, from a very hot Spain. Well, I'm very jealous of you all. For the first time ever, we've got the air conditioning on in here and I'm freezing. There's a first for everything. let's have a look at these boards, because Summer Pursuits is crazy, crazy gorgeous. So you can see here we've got the first frame. I think this is the hydrangeas. I am terrible. It's the wholesome hydrangeas. I don't know flower names, as I'm sure you've all gathered at this point. I'll just turn it so you can get a better view of it. So you've got your mats and you've got your layers here. And then this die is obviously what you're seeing here, and these are your extra elements that we use to decoupage out and to give it that really beautiful dynamic kind of fluff. It looks fluffy. Denise says good morning, Carla, over on YouTube. Good morning, Denise, thank you for joining us, lovely to have your company. Liz says, morning, the sun is coming out here in Torquay. Ordered my set this morning after I received my 10% discount today. Fantastic, Liz. Always use your 10% discount. And I mean this by no offence to Carnation, but it's better in your pocket than it is in theirs. They might not agree, but it's true. Eileen says, if I had £1 for every time that was sung to me, I'd be a millionaire.
I mean, I can't talk. I was just very happy that she was having a lazy day.
She's just very happy that you're having a lazy day. What can we say, Eileen? Mary, good morning, Carla, Taz, and all the team at Carnation Crafts. Yeah, big shout out to the guys over at Carnation as well, because they do work tirelessly, especially in the warehouse, but they all do. They're fantastic. So let's move on from the hydrangeas. We've seen all the colourway here. It's absolutely beautiful. Don't forget your code of CCSP10 if you don't have the newsletter. However, I would advise that you get the newsletter because it's blooming awesome and there's loads and loads of information in it. So get that and you'll get your discount code anyway every month. Look at this. I love this. Daisies are so happy, right? There's something about daisies. I don't know what it is. They're just so happy and lovely, and you can make necklaces out of them, and they're just sweet, and I like them a lot. Eileen says it's okay, Taz, you're forgiven. Isn't this just, she's nodding like she's been vindicated. Isn't this just beautiful? I love how this has got the flat platform at the bottom, so it looks like it's like a proper arrangement, if that makes sense. Like it is almost like an ornament of daisies, which I like a lot. And you've got your mats and layers and your base card. Beth says, morning from sunny Manchester. Why is it sunny everywhere but Peterborough? Or is that just generally the case? Beautiful, 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 pretty petunias. I was desperately trying to look at the back of the die to find the name of that, just so you all know. But this one sold so quick when we first launched it on Create and Craft. So if this is something that you want individually, this is the time to buy it now, because we sold out within the first day. Janice says, morning, Carla and everyone. I love this collection. I've had it for a couple of weeks and enjoyed using it. Janice, I'm really pleased about that. It's one that's really easy to use, and you can really build it up and make really just really dynamic shapes from it, and really beautiful shapes because of all the decoupage on it. It's really pretty. Lynn says, good morning, Carla and Taz, absolutely love this die set. Beth says, absolutely love this collection, just started making cards with it. For all of you that do make cards, if you've got it in you, I'm not saying you have to, but if you've got, please do share them in the group, because it's so lovely to see what you make with all the stuff. It's just really nice. Angie says, good morning from Skiathos. Angie, are you travelling?
What, does she live there?
No, I think Angie is part of either the DT team or a big part of all of the things. Angie, do you live in Skiathos? Or are you jollying? Inquiring minds would like to know. So we move on then, and we have now got these beautiful, beautiful butterflies. Yes, there will be a proper name for it. It is dancing butterflies, I've just checked, and it is absolutely stunning. I love these because you get the gorgeous sort of flow here where you've got the filigree with it, which I love because it gives us lots of playroom, and you can raise the butterflies, so you can see that that's been decoupaged upon. Now what's really nice is we can use any of these butterflies to decoupage on there. We can use the bodies and glue the bodies together because we have mirrored vignettes, so that's a way of doing that. Angie says, I used to be on the DT until I moved to Greece. I knew there was a connection, Angie. I knew there was a connection. I couldn't quite place it in my mind. So apologies for that. But, I mean, you moved to Greece. like, I don't blame you. Beautiful. So you can put these together to make one complete butterfly, or you can use them as separate elements to kind of decorate around. And because they're the size that they are and the colours that they are, when you see it all blending together, they just add this really beautiful aesthetic to the cards that you're making. And they're really powerful, even though they're small. Remember, I always say with Carnation, often it's the smaller dies that make the biggest impact on the cards that we're making. And I do think with these, that's the case. And I love this. I love, love, love. This is my favourite out of the whole collection. I just love this. From the day I saw it, I just fell in love with it. There's something about it. It's that whimsy, and I've said it so many times, it's that childhood element to it, the way it's drawn, the way it's coloured. There's just something really, truly beautiful about that, and I love its little miniature version, but the colours are insanely gorgeous. All the wee daisies that we've got here. And this little piece of foliage is designed so that that point that you just see there can go in the spout, just tucks behind, and then you place the florals on top and you get a cascade of florals coming down. It's super pretty, it's super beautiful, and it makes the most gorgeous impact on your cards. Then we've got the guitar, which will have a name, a summer song. I am not reading off the back of the dies at all. I know all of these names in my head. I don't know any of them. And you've got this gorgeous, gorgeous detailing. This is so realistic. The artwork on it has been done so well that when you cut it, the strings, you can actually feel the strings on it. That's how well the lines in it are with the design cut for it. And I love the wood effect, and I'm really hoping they're going to bring out more musical instruments, because I think it's, you know, powerful. I think there's loads of people that play musical instruments and that we can go in for that. Then you've got your gorgeous floral detail that sits on top. Carol says, good morning, Carla Taz. Everyone bought some of this collection last night. Can't wait for it to arrive. Well, we know Carnation is as Carnation is. There is a good chance that you are going to see that arriving through your door tomorrow, which is always nice to know, because Carnation send everything out first class. So hopefully you'll get that tomorrow, Carol. So from there, we've got these beautiful aspects that come in for your background. So these are really important. These are the ones that I say when we have these are your summer tuck-ins. You've got your little flowers here, and you've got your dandelion aspects there, and so these are the little wishes that you get from dandelions, you know, when they blow and you blow them and the little wishes come off. So they're just so beautifully done. Why are tuck-ins important on cards? Well, it's because certainly when we cut them in white, so there isn't a vignette for these, you cut them in whatever colour you want, but the reason that they're so important is because they fill in some of the white space. They just give you a kind of a difference in that white space, and it's important. It's a visual importance. So yes, they may not be your showstopper at the front of the card, but they're no less important because they give you a massive value, and it means we can create corner edges. We can do all kinds of things to make the value of that card in the center more full, if you like. Kim says, morning, Carla, at work, but having a sneaky. I don't. We won't say your name out loud. Then we have got your gorgeous sentiment holder. This is incredible. So you've got this sold as well, super fast. Oh, that is not bent, obviously. It is very bent. So you've got your beautiful sentiment piece here, which is this one. And then you've got your smaller one, which you can see here, and you get an even smaller one down here. Now these will all sit together. So actually, I think that one is that one is that one, and then you get your matte, is what I'm saying. So you can build them up and have all three together, or you can use them individually. It doesn't matter which. You can stamp on these when they look beautiful. You could write on them and do all of those things, but you've also got the beautiful little holder here. And as you can see, it sits like so. But if you want, you can have the central piece at the front and the two others at the back. It's entirely up to you. And it often depends on the stamp that you've used as to what will cover what. But they're so clever, because A, I've never seen them before, and that pleases me no end, but also the fact that we could put some foam tape at the back of here and make a separation between the two and glue the two sort of at here at the front, so that you're creating almost a triangle and you could have it standing. And I like that. I like that a lot. Suddenly I've got other things that I can do with this die collection, which is what I want. This, isn't that pretty? What I love about this, and what's difficult to see maybe on camera, but when you get it home and you cut this out, you're just going to be just stoked about, is things like the detailing on the bicycle seat, where you've got all of the little markings on the leather. And this is the difference, isn't it, with Carnation compared to, you know, other companies. because they make everything in-house, and because they design everything in-house, they draw everything in-house, and they bring it all together, those detailings for a lot of people would be just an excess. Like, you don't need it. You wouldn't have missed it if it wasn't there. But the fact that it is there makes it so much more impactful, and it's the tiny details. It does make a difference. Just things like having the bars on the handlebars, or, you know, the little lines there that we all remember. I think from youth you had those, didn't you? Those rubber handles that we used to have. For all of you that used to have a chopper, I used to love my chopper, you'll remember those handles, and this has got it on here, and you've got everything going through. So I love, love, love. So Mary says, I love the guitar. And looking forward to it coming. I have 2 sons and a grandson who are guitar players, so I look forward to making cards for all of them. And isn't that the thing, Mary? Like, and this is what I love about Carnation. So from the first ever collection to where you've got now, you've got elements that will match, you know, in all places. There's not the next collection, but the collection after that, which I have just started to cut out, has got so many elements in it that I'm going to be able to use for years to come in so many different cards. It's amazing. And you know, that's what I love. It's like tools, isn't it? You know, if you've got a toolbox, you start out with your hammer and your screwdriver, but eventually you need all your screws, and you know that you need them in different sizes for different jobs, and that's what these dies provide us with. It's different things for different jobs as we're card making. Rosalind says, good morning, Carla and Taz from a dull, cloudy North Norfolk. Just watching before I go to, it just says go to fat. So I don't know whether that means like a Slimming World kind of a club. I think possibly, I used to call it, I won't tell you what I used to call it when I used to go, but I lost a lot of weight on it and then put it back on with the Monster Munch. Anyway, so we'll carry it on from there. These are separate items that are coming through. So I'm going to show you these individually because it is a separate thing. So it's not part of the main collection. It is something different. So these items are incredibly popular for very, very good reason, and these are your beautiful alphabets. Now the power of these, I'm just going to move these boards so I can show you this more effectively, so just let me put these down here. So for the love of letters alphabet, so you can see these here. So when you're seeing this board, sorry, I meant Fat Club. Rosalind, I knew what you meant because I used to go myself, and everybody in there called it Fat Club. I called it something else, but I don't want to offend anybody. It wasn't offensive, but I don't want to offend anyone, so I won't say what I called it. But you can see here you've got this gorgeous fun font. It's a really kind of retro 1970s, 1960s, really cool retro font. I love it so much. I think it's just incredible. But as you can see, you don't just get one alphabet on it, you get 2. So you're getting both sets, and that's incredibly powerful. And then you can see this one over here. So you're getting all of this just in that one die set, which is incredible, right? That's an awful lot of metal, a huge amount of metal. And on top of that, you're getting all of your mats for every single letter as well. I think we worked out that it works out about 104 dies just in that one set, which is awesome. And that's on code number 220701. It's obviously separate, like I say. And that is that it's the normal price of $59.99. If you're using your discount, is that correct, Taz? It would be $53.99, broken up into your 4 payments. Those flexi payments for your basket for your clear pay, they go down to £13.50 for that, and that is amazing to me. But it's not just the letters that you get. You also get these that are a stroke of utter genius. Now, I don't have the resources in here to show you how they work. We will eventually hook that up to make things easier for you. But when you open the vignette for these on the Carnation Crafts website, I will go through that. It will have these will be highlighted in blue, and it'll have a mark in it, and you can type anything you want in here, anything at all. And the more you type, the smaller the letters get. So if you've got a longer name, you can pull that down to a smaller name. And the idea behind these is that you would use one of your big letters, these. So if I wanted to make the word Peter, you would use your P because it's exactly sized correctly to go on here. So it would be your monogram, and then I would type Eater. So I would have Peter, and that is how that tag would come together. So super easy to use. Obviously you don't need to use, you can put the full word in there. It's entirely up to you. But it's such a stroke of genius, isn't it? Because now we are never going to struggle to make an individual personalised card. We can have fun bits in there. I did one where the bike was there and I had the label on your bike. You can make some fun with them. So it's incredibly powerful. So this did fly. It flew when we first launched. So just to let you know, individually, that is 220701. You're never going to have enough fonts in your collection of dies because we use them for different things. We need different sizes and different elements. And this is just, I mean, it's spectacular. Look at all that metal. It is just, there's so much going on there. It is beautiful. And also then to see it together as die cuts themselves. Isn't that just so pretty? They've really gone to town on this collection, and rightly so. It's just really lovingly done, and I think that's why I like it so much. So I'll pop these over here, and I'm going to show you some finished samples with finished receipts so you can see what you're getting into, because it is just beautiful. Now, Miss Tiz Taz has insisted that I show you this one. I'm just going to try and not destroy the set.
That's what I have to put up with. People have seen now.
I will say at this point, I may have told you this before, but Miss Taz did approach Mark, who, Mark and Nick run Carnation, did approach Mark and say that she didn't think she was getting paid enough to be my carer at the same time as doing her job. She actually said that. You don't pay me enough to be her carer. Rude. So this is the one that Miss Taz wants me to show you. White on white. Okay, white on white is always going to be one of your most effective ways of producing something that is going to always be breathtaking, and it's breathtaking for a good reason, because you have that massive strong impact on whatever you've got on top of it. So the butterflies here, which are white, you know, effectively they are white. They sort of look creamy against the white background, but to be able to see them with that white stacking underneath, and remember again on here, I don't know which DT member did this, Fiona Abbott, thank you Fiona. So Fiona has done the golden rule of white on white, which is to make a distance between each layer, and you do that with foam tape, because white will eat itself. If that was flat against its counterpart, you wouldn't really see the effectiveness of the layers. So white and white, it's always important to make sure you build those layers with some foam in between so you get the shadow. This shadow is super important on white, and it just allows everything to breathe. It allows the eye to see what it needs to see. So when we bring in detail like this with a stamp, we've got something very simple here. These beautiful little diamantes that sit, and then those gorgeous little butterflies. Super simple, right? But absolutely stunning. And that's using the card base for the wholesome hydrangeas. So you've got everything brought in together, but it's completely different to something else that we'd see. So then I'll bring in a card that is made with the wholesome hydrangeas, and this will be my first demo. So we're just going to have a look at different ways of playing with it. Exactly the same card shape, but something entirely different. Betty says, hi Carla and Taz, love Carnation crafts. Yeah, Betty, it's been a journey. You know, they're amazing, right? I am always honoured to be able to be here and, you know, work for Carnation. They're just the most incredible team. So you'll see how we're using still white on white. We're still picking up that base. We haven't brought in perfect papers yet because we're using white on white. We're building it up. But what we're doing this time is introducing that mass of colour. So you get this huge impact. Now, I wouldn't say that one of those was more impactful than the other. What I would say is this would work as, depending on the stamp that you put, this would work as a wedding card or a sympathy card or a christening card. It's got all three elements going for it, because that's what white on white does, doesn't it? It gives us that blank canvas. It works for those things. We associate with those things with that kind of clean edge. Whereas this is birthday, it's fun, it's celebration, it's bright, it's pink, it's, you know, all of the gorgeousness coming together. So the fact that we've got that coming from one card, just one die set, essentially, as far as the base is concerned, we've made something completely different. But then how else can we bring it in? Take away the card base and we start to use the decoupage elements of it. We're using the perfect papers now. We've got that beautiful circular shape, and then we've also got those elements sitting on it with that beautiful backing paper. So we've got so much going on. We have got, that's all essentially that same dye collection, and look how different they are. And that's powerful, that's incredibly impactful, because I know that having that one dye or having this one collection, I'm going to be able to make a myriad of different things. And I like that. I like the control that it gives me. I like the power that it gives me. So thank you to Tina, thank you to Fiona, and thank you to Pam. And I will once again say we do have, as far as I'm concerned, the strongest DT team in, you know, in card making. We've got the delightful Daisy. Look at that. It's the colours, right? There's something about Summer Pursuits. There's something about the colourway on it. There's something so happy and crisp and sunny and delightful about it. You can't look at that and not feel happy. There's just so much colour and love, and it just shines out of the card. These little watering cans are just the best. You've got the beautiful stem of colour, you've got the gorgeous backing papers coming in. The backing papers for Summer Pursuits are beautiful. They're really bright and they're really fresh. It's just something really vivid and gorgeous about them. And then you've got all your elements, and this is what I was saying to you about using those monograms in the fonts. So you've got your L here, and then of, so you've got love, and we make up our sentiments exactly that way. And I think that's just pretty, pretty, pretty. This, look at that. Isn't that stunning? So the use of lace here is so appropriately gorgeous. I just think there's something. Who did this one? Barbara. What an absolute corker of a card, Barbara. I think that is just beautiful. So we've got part of the daisy frame there and part of the daisy frame down here. So we're just snipping in, which is what Carnation do. They give us all the snippability. We can snip and we can place. And what Barbara's done here, which is my favourite ever thing to do with cards, is she's cornered out both sides and she's left that diagonal line to work with. So your canvas is already broken into and you have that beautiful centre point. So we actually visually we notice the flowers visually, they're there, but the thing we focus on is that beautiful lace band and the bike, and then the gorgeous words at the top, Mum. And that's done obviously with the love of letters, and it's done with that kind of 1970s feel. And I love how Barbara has put in the little flowers to give it even more of a 60s, 70s feel. Just pretty, right? Alison says, I love the bicycle. I do too. I like the fact that it's a traditional bike, and I like the fact that it is just so detailed, because it is so just so gorgeous, isn't it? I think it's love. I like the fact that we can put the basket on with the flowers, that it's got those elements to, you know, bring up. And I haven't seen the other colorways for this, or even if there are any colorways out at the moment, but hopefully when they bring them out, there'll be a blue bicycle as well, because that would be super fun. You could have both of them together, right? But there's never any reason why you can't cut one out in white and have it next to each other to give the idea of a second bicycle, so that kind of visual of a shadow of a bicycle, which is lovely to have as well. Then we've got the guitar. Look at this. That's beautiful, isn't it? Isn't that gorgeous?
Am I allowed 2 favourite cards?
You're allowed 2 favourite cards. Is that your second one? This one is Lindsay Atherton. Thank you, Lindsay, so much. Now, the reason why these cards are so impactful, especially when you see something like this, using the frame twice, especially when you use it with your mats and your layers as an overlay, there's a hint, isn't there, of what's coming underneath. We can see the hint. So we know, as somebody who is, you know, sort of interested in music, you know what that is. You know you've got that coming. So it's the impact, isn't it? We're waiting for the impact. You're waiting for the theatre curtain to go up. This is somebody's feet appearing at the bottom of the theatre curtains, and we're just waiting for those curtains to rise. Annette says a racing bike for the guys would be good too. Absolutely, yeah, it would. I think all those hobby things are brilliant for dies, because we've got so many people to give them to. And this is what I mean about building the toolbox of the dies that we've got. But when we open this, and we see that, it's so breathtaking. This little patch of white that we've got down here, those are the things to notice. Using your mats and layers with a depth to give that white impact, what that does is visually breaks up the blue. It breaks up the impact of the two together. If you didn't have that white space, it would be too much. It's about allowing the eye to breathe. It seems so silly, but it is important because we've got a lot of detail here. But that mirroring is beautiful. What I will say about these sentiments, where it says take it easy, they are on the vignettes. So the vignettes that you get for the sentiment holder, there's some that are blank and there's some that are filled in. And so you've already got them going. If you want to, you can just print them out. My advice, print them out a couple of times, cut them out and put all of the sentiments in a bag. And then as you go forward with your card making process, you've always got sentiments to hand that you can just grab out. They're just easy to use. A couple more and then we will get on with some demos. I love this watering can so much. Isn't it beautiful? So this has been personalised for Anne. Have a lovely day. You've got that beautiful curve. So again, it's using those curves, isn't it? That curvature, that flow that we've got. And especially when you've got these florals coming down, because that flow just allows the eye to draw down to where we want it to focus. Carol says there is a blue option in the colorways you can purchase. It's a lovely blue color. Carol, thank you so much for that, because I haven't seen them yet. I haven't been into it. So I appreciate that massively. I love that playway that Carnation do, that you because the colorways aren't expensive, you know. I think they usually keep them at around about £1 normally speaking. The fact that you can get those and you can change everything up even more just is just a wonderful thing. So yeah, I love this very much. I love the use of the tiny little daisies there, just super sweet. That is one of Pam's. 2 more to go and then we are on with demos. Layered apertures. Layered apertures always going to be important because they create dynamism in our cards. So where you can see the little butterfly sitting at the back there, then you see your white layer and then you've got your blue and your pink layer. What we're doing there, if I can just find the right dies, hold on, I'm going to ruin the set. Sorry, Taz. So where we've got this sitting here, for those of you who don't know how to do your layered apertures, you have got obviously these center panels here. These are all separate dies. The best way I've found of doing your layered apertures is to put your papers together, put your smallest die. So if you're cutting through 2 sheets of paper, put your smallest die in the place that you need it to be and cut through both. And then when you go to use your bigger die on the next piece of paper, so the one that is going to have the wider aperture, you can see where it needs to be placed and you work it up that way. What are you saying to me? That Taz is writing things on boards. The deal of the day looks like it'd work well with this. What is the deal of the day today?
It's a flourished bird cage.
It's a what?
Like a flourished bird cage. A
flourished bird cage, yes it would indeed. So that's how you do your layered apertures. So Sharon says, morning Carla and Taz, already have mine. I made 2 cards already. Both recipients love them. Stunning collection. Please, please, Carnation, can we have some more male-oriented cards? Message said, hopefully they'll hear it and they will go forward with it. Taz, I've completely ruined your set. I apologise. So these are just absolutely beautiful. You open it up and you've got the little sneak peek of the butterfly inside. The little butterfly wings will go up if you want them to. So you've got that kind of flow of it being almost real. It's just really pretty, isn't it? Sally says, I got my set last night. So happy. Thank you for showing us how to today. Sally, it's an absolute pleasure and thank you more for joining me this morning. So you've got all those elements. So we've got the little butterfly sitting here. You have a hint of them sitting here and here, and then you are able to see the full thing put together. So that's 2 of those clipped together by the bodies and you put them as one full butterfly. So you're not just stuck with one full one. You can, you know, build. But I love the blue and the pink working together on that. The last one I'm going to show you, again, those layered apertures. Isn't that so pretty? And the reason for me that this one really speaks to me is actually how simple it is and how the fact that we've got that sitting there with that beautiful white insert, because it just draws everything else together. Little impact around here with your sending you love. It just makes it bold, it makes it very clear, and then you've got your beautiful butterflies sitting there. It is just pretty. I love working with Carnation. You can see you've got your blank in here, and the way that works is that you've got your little aperture at that side. So you've got choices. You could put somebody's name in there. You could tuck something in. You could have a little gift card sitting there that the recipient can see. So lots of ways of using it in that way. And I think the more we play with Carnation, and certainly for me, the more I play with them, the more I think, I've got so many different ways of playing just with this one collection. I've got so many things I can do with just this one collection. And I, you know, as somebody who loves to craft, I like that. I like that. So let's have a look at how some of these work up. Now, before I get completely into it, I do need to go through it for beginners who have never used Carnation before. For those of you who have heard this before, I apologise. It is just part of the housekeeping. So I will say, if you want to find the artwork for Carnation, what I mean by the artwork are the vignettes. So it would be something like this little watering can that I've got. You go onto the website, which is www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. You go to downloads, free downloads, and then on the right hand side you can type in your collection or search for it. We put in summer pursuits for this one, and all of these vignettes will appear. As we scroll through, one of them will say the Carnation Crafts, no, it will say Summer Pursuits Original Colorway Collection or something along those lines, and that's the one that you're going for. So you click onto that and you add it to your basket. You also, while you're there, it's worth adding to the basket your backing papers. They're free, and any inserts that might be there for free as well. Go through checkout. You don't need to put in any card details if you're just downloading the artwork and have already purchased the dies. It's all free. Check out, and then you print them. So you get those vignettes downloaded to your computer, you print them, and you pop your dies on top. When you print them, if you can, print them in Pro Print paper. It will make a world of difference to you. If you're using Pro Print paper, you have the choice with Carnation vignettes as to whether to print them single-sided or a mirrored vignette, which gives you both images on both sides, which are really, really useful. I always print mine mirrored. Some other people prefer to print theirs single-sided. It is entirely horses for courses. However, what I'll say to you is, if you're thinking, well, I'd like some Pro Print, but there's different GSMs and I don't know which one to get, which is an incredibly valid point. If you're going to do mirrored vignettes, which is where you print it out, there's a black line down the centre, you fold on that centre, spray glue the inside of it, or use some adhesive on the inside of it so it is doubled over. Pop your die on top. It then has, we've got the colour of the watering can here, and when I turn it over, it's exactly the same on the other side. I've got foam tape on it, but it is exactly the same. So I can play with it either way. I can have my watering can that way, or I can have it that way. If you're using that, then I would suggest 120 GSM, because as it folds, it becomes 240. Other than that, if you want it single-sided for your Pro Print, I would go for the 220 if you're just going to use single-sided. Just gives it a bit more stability. It's stronger. It's just one of those things that I've sort of learned as I've gone. That's how I prefer to work. You'll find your own way, but that's my advice. So let's have a look at what we're going to build here. So I've got some vignettes in here, and I've got my card bases. So I'm using the Wholesome Hydrangea shape. I love the shape for this. I love the fact that I've got that beautiful kind of cloud effect that goes around. It's very soft, and there's something very pretty about it. And I'm just going to remove the backing tape from this, and you can see that I've got a lovely long cat hair sitting inside that and a bit of fluff. You don't have to. It's not mandatory for making cards. It's entirely a matter of choice or being forced, because Miss Phyllis has no boundaries. And Miss Phyllis is my cat, not some lady who lives in my house, as people have suggested previously. Oh, yeah. So what we're doing, you see how that moved? Because I have that sitting back towards my body, it doesn't matter if it moved. If that had been stuck, if that had been facing down at that point, it would have stuck in the wrong place. I wouldn't have been able to undo it because it's red liner tape, and then I would have had to have cut them again. That's why we always keep that towards your body, keep it away from this side. Have something that you can butt up against. The multimedia mat is fantastic for that. And then you're just placing it down. That means we've got it set exactly where we need it. It just makes things a bit easier if you're clumsy like I am. Backing papers. Look, I'm all covered in stuff, Miss Taz. It's because it's been sitting in the bag. You can see the stripes from where my foam tape's been. I don't worry about those things because I'm going to cover it. If it was on the front of my card, I would most certainly not be happy. But when it's on something that I'm going to cover, I'm not too worried about it. I'm not a fussy crafter in that way. The perfect papers are stunning. This collection for your perfect papers, they're some of the best. Can you keep that there, Taz? And I'm just going to go and steal some papers. Just bear with. I'm getting up. This is very rare for me, Miss Taz, in a demo. I'm going to ruin your whole thing. Right. Hold on. I've got to wheel myself around like some old lady. There we go. I'm here. I'm getting old, Miss Taz. You know this. You mention it very often. When you're doing your caring duties. I just wanted to show you the colours on these because I was so blown away by them. I'm somebody who is very responsive to colours, and colours mean everything to me. I don't know why it's always been that way for me. It was throughout my quilling journey. It certainly has been throughout my card making journey. That, to me, is just one of the most glorious, happy sights I could ever see. I think that is just beautiful. And the perfect papers are done so, so cleverly. If I was to place this watering can on here, you'll see the aspects of this pink come into that watercolor. They're picked. So these papers are colour picked from these. So the way that works is when you've got a piece of artwork in a software, if you like, you can use a dropper and you can, so the artwork that you've made, you can literally pick that colour and then that is made into these papers. What that means is you never clash. So it doesn't matter where I put that watering can, it's going to go with every single colour that comes in your perfect papers, which is why your perfect papers are so important. And they also match in with the back-in papers. Your perfect papers are on 220724. They're $14.99 and that is a free UK shipping. So Taz, if I put in my 10% discount code, would I get 10% off that as well or not? I would. Do I get 10% off everything that's in my basket at that point? Or is it just off this collection?
Depends which code you use. If you use
Okay.
CCFSP10,
Yeah.
it's 10% off all summer pursuit items.
Right.
Newsletter would be 10% off your entire basket.
So it would be the entire site if you're using these. So it's actually probably better to be downloading your newsletter then, because you would get it site-wide, right?
Yeah.
I like to know these things. They have to give them to me because they need me to demo them, so I don't have to do the purchasey part, otherwise they would have no demonstrations. So I'm just going to turn this over. I'm using a 3mm on here, 3mm foam tape. What that means is that I've got some depth. Can you just see that there? There's a little bit of depth there. 3mm is just enough for it to be visually different without it being excessive, is the best way I can phrase it. So I'm just going to remove the two edges. I normally do it halfway, but I'm going to remove the full edges because I can't see overhead where I'm going with these at this point anyway, so it's all guesswork. So I'm just going to go roughly around about there. So we've got that first layer on, so we've already, it looks like one of those party ring biscuits. Do you know what I mean? Can you remember them, Taz?
I love that.
Do you see what I mean? That smooth.
Yes.
My brain goes into funny places. Some white on top of that. I don't know what happens to my demos between me making them, packing them and getting them out, but somehow
Miss Phyllis.
it'll be Miss Phyllis. We'll blame Miss Phyllis. But see how, like, when you put your clothes in your wardrobe and a week later you go to put them on and some elves or some fairies have been in your wardrobe and sewn them up tighter, which is very rude. You see how that happens a lot? And then that same thing happens to my demos. They just somehow get dirt on them in between. It's the same fairies, I'm just saying. They just like to cause me problems. So what I've got here is this beautiful framework. I've got my decoupage elements on here. So I've got those aspects that sit and that gives me that fluff. Now, there's two ways of working with these. Tracy said they still sell those biscuits. I don't like them. Listen, Tracy, are you like me? Do they squeak in your teeth? They squeak in my teeth. I can't deal with the texture of those biscuits. I've got to say mushrooms do the same thing. They squeak in my teeth. Because it's making my mouth go funny. Right, so when you've got those, we can actually obviously use a ball tool on them and frame those decoupage elements out. Now, obviously I've got foam tape on mine, but I'll sort of semi-show you it. What's Wheeler done with my mat? Am I going to have words with Ms. Wheeler? I will have words with Doris at a later point, but I'll show you what I mean. My mat has gone missing, which is a very bad Wheeler. So what we're doing is we take this and we're just going to shape out. Now you would work from the outside and you would work your way in on these. And what will happen is you will create this beautiful dome. What I'll do for the next demonstration, for the next show, which is in a couple of hours, I think it's at 11 o'clock, I will show you how to base that out fully and we'll do it properly. I'll get another vignette and do it on my mat. I'll find a different mat. because Miss Wheeler seems to have done a runner. Tracy says they're too sweet. Jaffas all the way. I assume you mean Jaffa cakes. They also make my cheeks tingle. That it's too much of a sweet sensation hit at the same time. Can you not find it?
I don't know what she's done with them.
She's stolen it. She's a bad, bad human. We'll let her off though because we love her very much. I'm just going to place this on top of here. And place it down. Look how pretty that is. There's something just gorgeous about that. Just about that. It's fluffy, it's lovely, it's just wonderful. I love it. Right, we're going to go in here. I've got my applicators, I've got my wet glue sitting, and I've got some little aspects that I'm going to play with. Let's put this over here. So, basically, what I'm going to do is use my little watering can as my mainstay. So I'm going to pop that in the center, and it's just going to be that little visual impact, because actually I like it plain. I'm not going to lie to you. I like that white space in the center, but I just want to bring something in just to alleviate it slightly. So I'm using this tiny piece here. Annette says, is Carnation attending any craft shows, Carla? I can tell you that I don't believe we're attending any this year, but I think we are possibly talking about attending some next year. Whether that comes ahead or not, I'm not sure, but certainly there have been discussions. I would like to very much. I think it would be really nice to meet the people who I talk to every day, because you're the ones that put up with me, and that's very kind of you. So it would be very nice to meet you. We could get Taz on the road and we could come and see you all. Tracy says, very pretty, and I'm not a huge flower fan. I like this. Tracy, I mean, I'll be totally honest with you. You've seen me demonstrate often enough to know that I haven't got the foggiest about flowers. I like the colours of them. Do I know the names? No. Do I know daisies? That's it. It's not the flowers, if I'm totally honest, that appeal to me with the florals. It's the colours of them. I love colour. And so the florals, because the shape of nature is always perfect, right? And so the shapes are always perfect with the colours inside them. So these florals just work, and that's why it's so important. Right, what I've done here, where my sentiment is, which says birthday celebrations, I've put my foam tape just at one side because I'm going to overhang it. I want it to work kind of as a tag on the side of my card, which I like the idea of that element coming out, but it means I need to counter it, and I'm countering it with the butterflies. And the way I'm doing that is just to pull the little body forward, take some glue, the air conditioning has dried it, and just tiny bits. I'll place one at this side to counter the tag that I'm going to put on. And then I'm going to place one at the top, somewhere off kilter, because I've got a decoupage element here. So I've already got that raise here. It is just already raised up, so I need to counter it. And the reason I'm doing it with the white over here and I've got the blue here is because my impact of it is going to be over here, and I'm going to offset it with the white so it's softer on the eyes. Ozzy, my blind cavapoo, loves party rings. He also knows when I've got them. Aww. Oh, I love that. And then Gloria says, I've got my set, Carla. It's so beautiful. It really is. Yeah, party rings. My nana and granddad, I used to live with my nana and granddad when I was very tiny, and they used to buy me party rings. And so I've got like a fond memory of them, very fond memory of them, but they really squeak in my teeth. It's just one of those things. It sets my teeth on edge, I think, is the best way of phrasing it. And I don't know. But yeah, I used to love them. He used to get me those, and they used to get me, can you remember those toffee lollies that were just a perfect circle? This is going back some years. You probably won't remember them, Taz. But they were just a perfect circle, and it was a little toffee, flat toffee lolly that used to last for hours, and then if you crunched them, that really did ruin your teeth. So we've got something really sweet there, really, really beautiful. just really impactful. So what we're looking at always is making that kind of symmetry. Now obviously this isn't symmetrical at all. Your frame is, the butterflies are in random places, and so is the birthday celebrations, but what we're looking at is the fact that we've got something over here, something over here, something at the top, and then we've got the bigger decoupage element here with just one central focus. We've got the white space in the center, so we haven't overfaced the card. There isn't too much going on, but there's enough to create an enormous impact on it, so it's really, really pretty. Tracy said we had a springer called Ozzy, sadly no longer with us. Top name for a dog. Oh, I love that. Annette says pineapples set my teeth on edge. There you go. There you know what I mean, Annette. Pineapples do it to me as well. Tracy said this could be put into a frame for a present. It's not the only one though, is it, Tracy? I think any cards that we make with Carnation, I would say take it, because Carnation kind of, so what Carnation do differently to most other companies, and I'm not saying all companies, I'm speaking for Carnation, or for me as a crafter with Carnation's products, because of the detail they put in there, and the detail being the cut lines, and because they go slightly further into the technical side of things, so I can make my own sentiments, they create dynamic card shapes. The way they handle decoupage is different to most companies. Because of that, it means that as a beginner, I can produce the most fantastic piece of work. As an expert, you can still build, shape, and create things that you can't do with other die sets, and that's why Carnation is set aside from other companies, and especially because the artwork's in-house. So I love the fact that most of what we make from Carnation is good enough to be a present for somebody. That's incredible, I think. Beautiful in box frames, those kind of things, you know, just absolutely stunning. So just as a review on that before I get going with the next demo, your number is 220713. It is the Summer Pursuits collection. The normal price for it is £156.93, but today you won't be paying teeth, Taz, teeth. You won't be paying that price. You will be paying £119.99 with free UK PMP. However, if you put in the code CCSP10, you will get a 10% discount, which will take it down to £107.99. You can divide that into 4 payments, which will make that price £27. And that'll be £27 for 4 months, which makes it sort of more palatable for lots of us. You can also buy the separate For the Love of Letters set as well, which is a separate purchase, but is absolutely beautiful and in no way less incredible. Look at the amount of metal you get on that. It's huge. And that is what you're saying to me, Taz. You want me to put it on the overhead? She really doesn't like doing these shows with me. Somebody's saying about AliExpress. Yes, there has always been problems with AliExpress putting fake dies on. The problem with that is, and most Carnation crafters know this, Carnation's crafts dies are all branded, but the other side to that is the dies that they have on the fake sites don't fit the vignettes. They're not the same size, so they don't fit the vignettes, so they don't work. So it's good money after bad because they don't work. Angie says, I've done a few box frames as gifts and the recipients have loved them. Yeah, it's just a way of taking it further, isn't it? Like, we don't just have to make cards. There's so many different ways of using them and so many ways that we can bring it all together. So that is your collections for today. Let's do another quick demo. What time am I on, Taz? Am I okay for time? Have I got 5 minutes?
Yep.
Let's go. So when we come back at 11, Claire says ClearPay is fortnightly, not monthly. Is that right, Claire? I've never used it. Thank you for telling me. I've never used it. Maybe I should start. I'm not au fait with all of these. I haven't used PayPal because you can get PayPal Pay in 3 as well on the site, and you can use that as well. Eileen says, I can't change the font on the vignettes with For the Love of Letters. Is that with the ones with the monogram? Because the other ones with the sentiments holder, they don't change. It's got to be the one that has the monogrammed element on it. So it's got to be the tags, which is separate. So make sure you're getting the right download for it, because it'll be a separate download from the main collection. It's it's on here and you've got the tag here, and it's this bit that it's just this bit when you're on the PDF that changes. So it's just that element, and that is separate. So it's a separate download. So if that's not working, try closing down Adobe completely, quit it, and then try reopening it. That may then help it. It's a software thing. They definitely work because I've been doing them in demos. So it's only because I can't do them on, we're not hooked up to my computer on here, so I can't do it on here. But I have tried them. They are tried and tested. So hopefully you can get that sorted. Louise says, thank you, Carla, for clearing up the AliExpress. I thought they might be fake. Yeah, I mean, it's a problem that most companies have. It's unfortunate, and it's one of those things. People want things for cheap, and the problem with something like Carnation is that they'll buy them, but the thing that makes Carnation is not just the dyes, but the elements that go with them, and they don't work with these, you know, the vignettes, the different sizes. And also the quality is usually terrible, I have to say. Carnation don't use the sort of cheaper dyes, the cheaper quality dyes. They use obviously the more expensive ones because they want the better cut on the finished items. Because listen, everything that you make with Carnation, everything that I make with Carnation, and everything that anybody makes with Carnation is a reflection on Carnation. And so they're very, very focused and very clear on making sure you get the best quality of everything, because it reflects on them if you make something and it isn't a nice finish on it. So, you know, they don't go for the cheaper elements, so that when somebody brings something out on something like Ali and it's a fake, the quality isn't the same. It doesn't have the same value to it, and they don't fit the vignettes. So there you go. Louise says, big thank you for the weekend special. Bought a few off my wish list. Brilliant. Well done, Louise. This is so lovely that they did that. I thought it was such a nice idea, and what a win last night, right? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. The pink and the white. Isn't that special? I could get so excited about colour. Sorry, guys. Things like that just really, really please me. I am trying to go fast. Everything is blowing away with the air conditioning. I've just lost half of my demo. So we might have quite a different finish. I've lost a sentiment down by my feet, Miss Taz. Sorry to be a pain, but the air conditioning blew it away. It's just tucked into that card at the front. Can you see?
Oh, yeah.
That's the one. So it's just the sentiment that was separate. Thanks.
Oh.
Yeah, see?
Goodness me.
It's very useful having a Miss Taz here. She's very good. She does look after me quite spectacularly. Thank you. Sorry, girl. Right, we've got this beautiful guitar here. All I'm going to do on the guitar is shape it slightly. I've got the foam tape. That is stuck to me. I've got the foam tape at the bottom here. All I'm going to do is put that foam tape on my finger. I'm going to lay it across my finger, and I'm going to hold that vignette with the foam tape. I've still got that stuck to my finger. And I'm just going to take my fingers on either side of the vignette, and I'm just going to slightly push, just ever so slightly. So I'm bringing the neck of that guitar forward, I'm bringing the rest back. Now, the reason I'm not shaping that out is, as we all know, that with a guitar is flat. Visually, it's flat when we look at it. You know, it's a piece of wood. So I don't want to be excessive. What I want to do is just give it a tiny, tiny bit of shaping, and that's where your foam tape helps, because it stops it bending into a curve. What it does do is just give it a tiny, tiny little bit of dynamism, and that is absolutely fine for what I need. I'm not touching the neck of the guitar. I'm just taking my foam tape off. I've got it on a 5mm, so I am properly pulling this out. And you can see I've got a tiny bit on the neck, and then the rest along the body, and that is because I'm going to take it to an angle. So I'm going to take it across, and I think I'll stem from this white daisy to this one, just for my visual, laying it across that shape. So remember that diagonal that's just in the middle, it's just really easy to see. So your eye is stretching across your piece. And then I'm going to take my watering can, and in a very similar fashion, I'm going to lay it on my finger, and I'm just going to push very gently. Now this is going to give me a curve. I don't have foam tape on the bottom of this, so I'm going to get more of a curve. So I can push around my finger and just sculpt that out just around. Remember, your hands are always your most useful tools whenever we're crafting. It's always going to be your best friend. And I'm going to use some pin flare on this because I want to keep that raise where it is, and I'm using that in the belly of the curve that I've just created. That will keep it flat to the rest of it and allow me to retain that curve. I'm going to place that just randomly on the side, and I'm going to place another one. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing. But I want this one obviously to face this way, so I'm just turning it over because I've got a mirrored vignette, so I can have it either way I choose without buying another die. And I'm just going to strolly. I made up words, Miss Taz. I made up some words for the morning. I'm just placing, so we're just using your hands just as your tool there. You don't need anything else. And I'm just going to place a little bit of pin flare in the center there, and I'll place this randomly this way, just as that little color. Look how pretty that is. And then I'm just going to place on here, and I'm keeping it flat. I want it to go below my baseline and tuck it through my flower. I'm going to have my flower as my holder there. So all I'm going to do is take I'm just going to tuck that under because the air conditioning is going to make it fly away. I'm going to take my wet glue, if I can get hold of any. I don't want much. And I'm going to raise this flower just with my nail. And I'm placing some glue underneath it. I'm going to take my sentiment and just lay it under that flower, so the flower becomes my sentiment holder, and I keep that little tiny pop of colour on my sentiment, but that will flow free. Now it's going to waft because we've got the air conditioning on, so bear with. But how beautiful is that? But actually the air conditioning shows you, this is the importance of keeping movement in your cards, and this is why I will never I always say use tiny amounts of glue. Allow some things to breathe on your card. Allow some things to be free at the top of your card, because if they are, you get the movement. So you can see this sitting here. Now, if this is in somebody's house and you've got it sitting so it's up right at somebody's house, what this means is when you get things like breezes, when we've kept some of those vignettes free and we've allowed them, so this is really important with florals, when we keep those top elements, the butterfly wings for instance, which would move, you get that movement on your card. Now obviously nobody at home is probably going to have this massive wind tunnel coming at them like I've got right now, but the point is that little bit of movement is going to create different elements, the same as your shadow work. When you raise things, so we've got this on foam tape, when you raise those elements up, that shadow work is coming through. So you can see where the shadow sits behind the plants here, the flowers. As the sun moves in somebody's room, that shadow will change to the other side of the card, and it creates something completely different, and that's why shadows are so important. Nicholas says, hi Carla and Miss Tez, waiting patiently for my Love in Hands collection to arrive, and also purchase those freezer bags you mentioned. And yes, you're right, they're amazing. I love your demos, happy crafting. Best freezer bags there are. Right, I'm going to let you go. I will see you at 11 o'clock if you can join me again, and we'll do some more demos. I'm going to do an easel card, I think, in the next one. So we'll have a look at that with Summer Pursuits because it looks fantastic, as you would expect. The number for your Summer Pursuits is 220713. It was wonderful to have your company. Thank you for joining me and for joining Miss Taz, and we will see you in an hour's time.